It's time now for the Indiana State University Coaches Show. This broadcast is brought to you by Mark Klinkenbeard Construction, Veribus Wealth Management, Peak Performance Gym, SMC Inc., the Tribune Star, Marion Manufacturing, and Dorset Automotive. Stand by now for the Indiana State University Coaches Show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Copper Bar. So great to have a really nice crowd here in front of us, here in person. If you're out and about in Terre Haute this evening, be sure to come on out. We'd love to see you here at Copper Bar. We're going to be here till 7 o'clock tonight. We have tons of great guests. And, of course, starting off, as always, with the head coach of Indiana State Women's Basketball, Chad Killinger. Anna McKendry is going to join us from Indiana State Women's Basketball as well. In the second half hour, we'll have head coach Josh Schertz of Indiana State Men's Basketball, and then Trenton Gibson will join us as well on the player side on the men. Now, Coach K getting ready for 11 a.m. tip-off tomorrow. Education Day in Holman Center. Should be a really great environment for all those that are coming tomorrow. But first things first, Coach K, just how you doing, my friend? It's been a month since we've been able to catch up with you here at Copper. Yep. I know your team had some tough games here recently, but it's a group that's played 6 games. I know you're still excited to figure out what type of group you have before you eventually get into league play, which is going to start here very, very soon.
Yeah, well, first of all, I felt like I was riding in the back of my parents' Ford Pinto with the music that was playing before we got started. But, no, we, obviously, I think one thing that's, I won't say affected us necessarily, but it's been a little bit difficult because of the way our schedule was structured. Finding out late that we were going to be playing 20 conference games after Christmas, only having 9 non-conference games to schedule over really an 8-week, 9-week period, I guess. When you have finals week built into that, really it becomes 8. So, excited to kind of see how we can continue to build. I've told some people if in June you told me we were going to be 3-3 and played the schedule we have, I mean, we've played 3 teams from the MAC. We played an A-10 team. We played Purdue and then Chicago State. But if you'd have told me we'd be 3-3, I'd probably have been pretty happy with that. But I know we can be better. And so, really, we talked the other day about not being satisfied. Our goal is to have a winning season, and we're still on track to be able to do that. But I think it's hard because we just haven't been able to get into that rhythm of playing, and where it's like prepare and play and prepare and play. And so when you have those 9 days, there's a lot of things that go through your head as a coach on,
absolutely.
Should we change this? Do we change that? What should we do?
Well, and I've joked with you too. I mean, I know it's probably something I like, wow, we're on going to be game 12 for the men this weekend, and here you are, you're half of that. You've only played 6 games of this.
Well, I will say that part of that will be remedied next year with we're going to have a trip to Puerto Rico over Thanksgiving, so we got into an MTE, so we'll be going down there. Sorry, Anna.
Just in time for
you're more than welcome to come, but you'll have to pay your own way. But we're excited about that opportunity, in the future for the program, and I think that'll give us a little more balance in our schedule in terms of building. But got 3 games at home before we get to Christmas break. Then we start conference play, obviously. But we've played a lot of different styles too, with some teams that shoot the 3 more, some that drive more. So I think the schedule has prepared us for a lot of what we'll see in the Valley, and that's something that's important to me when it comes to putting the non-conference schedule together. And so, we're still learning about each other every day. We've got either 4 or 5 kids, five kids in our rotation who either weren't with us last year or are coming off of ACL injuries. And so, it's definitely a work in progress as we go, but I'm excited to see what we can do.
It's been a topic of conversation, not just on the men's side, but I feel everywhere, of how tough it is to put a schedule together. Nonetheless, I know a huge topic of conversation between you and the other coaches were, how do you want that conference schedule to look like? Of course, the men played 2 in early December or late November to try to help up where you're not backloading your schedule as much. I believe in conversations we've had, that's something you tried to fight for, at least on the women's side, right?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I thought it would be great to play a game, that first week of December, play 2 games that first week of December, just so you're not loaded up. I mean, you're playing every single weekend.
Yeah.
And with not having, with us doing travel partners, the scheduling's different. It's not like you're playing on a Wednesday and then a Saturday or a Tuesday and then a Saturday or Thursday. So, we're playing Thursday, Saturday, you get Sunday off if that's the case. We've got a lot of Sunday games when it comes to the conference schedule, so we'll have Mondays off. and then you're playing again, either Thursday or Friday, and it's little time to prepare. Playing 2 games in 3 days obviously is I think taxing on the young women that we have, and it's something I thought we could do. My suggestion was play Wednesday, Saturday after Thanksgiving. Some teams, schools were like, well, we're trying to get into MTE, and we're playing in an MTE on Thanksgiving, and then turn around and playing a conference game. I'm like, well, if everybody's trying to do that, the men's teams do that. I know our men's team did that, so that's not really a reason not to be able to do it. Then we heard, another thing they talked about was, well, the travel partners, playing on Wednesday, Saturday. And I'm like, way the schedule is set up now, since it's an unbalanced schedule. We have 2 weeks where we'll play on a Wednesday, and then Saturday. 1 week it's Wednesday, Sunday. So that would not be any different. Playing Evansville on a Wednesday and then playing either Drake or Northern Iowa on that Saturday would be the same. You'd still get 1 home game, 1 road game, and I think it's doable. But I'll keep pushing for it, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no question. Jack Hillinger, our guest, head coach of Indiana State women's basketball. We'll get to the game tomorrow against Western Kentucky, 11 a.m. local tip time, as it will be the education day for the Sycamores. And one of those areas you mentioned, you played so many different styles through your first 6 games of the year. You're 3-3. Well, one of the consistent things you've had is you've been able to get off to good starts in games. It's been trying to maintain that through all 4 quarters. What's been well early that you've been able to go back through, watch film, that you like what your group does early, like you did over the weekend against Western Michigan, that maybe just isn't translating once you get back later on in the game?
Well, I think one thing, I think we're really well prepared in terms of each game and game plan and how a teammate is probably going to defend us, so how we're able to attack. And I think we do a really good job of attacking early on. We're a little more fresh and able to make some shots. And then I think as the game goes on, our rotation's usually probably 9 to 10 is what we really want to be at. So I'm trying to do a better job in the last few games of subbing a little quicker, getting shorter breaks, and then getting people back on the floor rather than playing 6 or 7 minute stretches. So that's something, from a head coach standpoint that we're working on, making sure we balance a little bit. But, I really think following the game plan, and then, against Western Michigan, they switched and went to a zone, and we hadn't spent a lot of time working on zone that week. But we spent a lot of time working against zones. We made some bad decisions, turned the ball over, didn't quite shoot it as well, weren't able to get out on the fast break. I won't comment too much on the officiating, but they shot a lot of free throws. So when they're shooting free throws, it's harder for us to get out on our fast break. So our pace was really good at the beginning of that game, and we got some baskets on the fast break, and then when the game gets really choppy with free throws, and they shot 34, and we shot 15. So it was, when you spend a lot of time boxing out on free throws and then trying to come down and run offense, you're not really getting that flow that we want and that pace that we want to play at. And so that was another big factor with that. And then some of our foul trouble, we just ended up with some lineups that aren't as familiar with each other, at this point in the season. And that's another area that I'm, talked to the staff about too, is we got to make sure we're trying to get as many people, different lineups in together in practice, so that once we get to the game, it's not completely foreign to them.
Anna's going to join us here on the show, and I'll ask her this question, but I know you've been around her for a while. When you think of her improvement in the off season, first 2 games of the year, lights out, and was huge for you, and you still look at your stats. She is in there in the top 2 in every category, if not leading multiple categories on your team, along with Berger, who we'll talk about in a moment. What she meant to your team early on in this season, and also the potential of what she can continue to mean for your group to be able to accomplish those goals, how big of a part she can play in that.
Well, she's really just a spark plug. Last year came off the bench, and this year's got the opportunity to start and has earned that opportunity. But she makes shots. She takes charges. She does a lot of the dirty work that people don't notice. She leads us in steals. She leads us in rebounds. She's second in scoring. She's the second smallest kid on the team, and putting up those kind of numbers. So, I think just that hard work and dedication, and being in a system for a year and then coming back and being in that same system, I think obviously has helped. She went from one system in junior college to a system at Nicholls State to a system here. It took a little while for her to get back to defending the way that she's really capable of defending last season, because she'd played so much zone the year before. So I think that just all those adjustments, have helped her kind of shine early on.
Oh, I know. And I just brought up Deljanae and the type of year she's had. I believe leading you in points, leading you in three-point percentage, free throws, second in rebounds, assists, steals, minutes played. Her and Anna kind of go 1 and 2 there for you. But she's someone that you talked at length a year ago with us here on this show about just getting her that confidence back and instilling her, because she got off to such a great start in her career, had a little bit of a sophomore dip. Of course, that really went back up last year to show the potential she's had. You feel like living up to that potential that you knew that she could have this year, and also ways that she's continuing to raise that bar for her?
Yeah, I think so. And then one thing we wanted to do with her was just get the ball out of her hands a little bit. It's a lot to have to run the point and then be relied on to score. So you're trying to get the team organized and executing, and you're telling people where to go, and then you're trying to get the ball back to score. So I think we've moved her off the ball a little bit, and having Ella Sawyer's helped with that. She gives us good size at the guard spot, especially at the point guard position. So being able to have Anna and Berger on the wings just kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. I mean, it puts 2 shooters out there. It makes us a lot harder to defend, and so I think she shows up and works, and the one thing I would challenge her on still a little bit is just continuing to be a leader. I think that we need that person in the huddle that's willing to say things that their teammates might not like at the time, but that need to be said. It need to be from a teammate and not necessarily from the coaches all the time. And so that's one area where we're kind of challenging them a little bit to grow here over the next couple of weeks.
Well, big game for you tomorrow. Western Kentucky in town. Again, if you're just joining us, Chad Killinger here on the Indiana State Coaches Show, getting ready for Western Kentucky tomorrow. Going to be the Education Day game. Going to be a ton of 6th graders coming out from the local community, going to be at your ball game tomorrow. We were just kind of talking a little bit before the show, and I was asking about your experiences with Education Day games in your career. These are really unique environments, but they're so much fun to be in because you never really know exactly what the kids are going to do when they're in their stands. They're going to cheer for a lot of random things. They're going to sing along the songs that they want to sing along to. But, man, it is a great environment, and it's the first one, I believe, that we've been able to do here at Indiana State. So it should be a really fun atmosphere tomorrow.
Yeah, the first one I was involved with was at East Carolina when I was the interim coach there, and we had broke the school attendance record. We had over 6,000 people there, and 2 memories from that was the first one was they played Let It Go from Frozen. My gosh. 6,000 kids screaming Let It Go. Was pretty interesting. And then and we won the game on our last second shot. So that was
great memories.
Yeah. It was won that one, and then had one at Nichols. Wasn't quite as big as the one we had at East Carolina, but it was still a fun environment. I mean, I remember winning that game, and then our players kind of going through and shaking hands with the kids and everything. So it should be an exciting game. Western Kentucky's their team that's still, I think they're kind of like us, still a little bit searching for their identity. They've played 7 games, so they're not far off from us, but got some long, athletic kids. They'll play 5-out motion and move and drive and cut. And, it'll be a challenge, obviously, but that's what we want in the non-conference part of the schedules. Have challenges to where we can get better and figure out things we need to work on that maybe we not necessarily overlooking, but maybe things we don't do from an offensive standpoint that we need to be prepared to defend and just we're going to go out there and give it everything we got.
Well, and you've been on the road, and you've had time to really spend a lot of time. You got a lot of time to practice, as you mentioned, those days in between games. So
too much.
I know, too much time to practice. But now to add that in, yes, you get practice time, but it's part of a 5-game homestand that's upcoming for you. Not only do you get the practice here at home, but you also get some fresh legs, and you get to stay at home. I'm sure that's a big benefit here as you get ready for conference play, that at least at this beginning stretch, even though Missouri State and Southern will be 2 very difficult challenges, and those are down the road for you, but they'll happen before the next time we talk to you. At least you get them at home, and you get these next couple challenges at home.
Yeah, and I'm, we talked about being a year ahead of where we thought we could be from a developmental standpoint with the program and just the process. And I'm not always patient when it comes to the process of building. Like, I want to win now.
Really? You're not a patient guy?
Patient.
I thought Rachel's told me how patient you can be.
I can be really patient when I'm sleeping. But no, I feel like we really got a good chance, to do some really positive things the rest of the season. And, it's our goals are real simple. We talk to the girls about, or young women, I should say, talk to them about being at least 5-4 at Christmas and getting to being +1. And I think when you look at our conference schedule, with the way it's broken down, and you look at home games and road games, and who you're playing each weekend and all those things, basically we're going to try to go 3-2 every 5 games. That's the goal, and if we can do that, then we pretty much guarantee ourselves a winning season, and I think it's possible. We have to play well. I'm not sure if you're aware, you wanted to talk about it or not, but Natalia Lalich tore ACL on Friday, so we lose her. So that's our 3rd leading scorer, our 6th man coming off the bench. I was told some people today it's not like losing one player. She played the 4, the 3, and the 2. She was really kind of that Swiss Army knife for us. So that's kind of like losing 3 players. And so we've had to adjust. Obviously going to Western Michigan and playing without her. It happened on Friday morning at practice and the drill we do pretty much every day. And, just bad luck there. Devastated for her. Just know how much time she put in and how much she bought into what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to build. And so hate it for her, and obviously we'll be as supportive as we can be of her and her return from surgery and everything. But keep her in your prayers, and we're going to do everything we can to keep her in a positive mind frame too.
Well, and you touched up on it. You can mention everything she does for you on the court, but I think everybody knows it's been around your team as much as I have. It's what she brings off the court and how great, and she's still going to be great off the court with your team because that's her type of personality. But it's just what makes it. That's just not that whoever has an injury, it always tugs at your heartstrings, but even more so for Nat because of how positive she has been through a lot of stuff here at Indiana State.
Yep. So it'll be interesting. She'll have a decision to make. I checked with compliance. She could actually redshirt. She wanted to come back. I told her I'm not going to put pressure on her to do that. That's up to her and her family on what they want to do and how she wants to pursue that. So there's possibility we've got a new signee for next year. We'll see what happens. But
the oldest Australian to ever play for Indiana State women's basketball. She can definitely tie that record up.
Yeah, I was talking to Bella Finnegan today, and our young kids it's harder, I think, for freshmen to really break in and be successful early, especially at the mid-major level, because they are playing against kids that have gained that extra COVID year. Bella just turned 18 after school started. It's a lot different for those kids in terms of their development. So it'll be interesting as all that kind of cycles back to normality. Is that a word? Normality.
Yeah, we'll make it a word. But no question. Coach K, good luck tomorrow. Again, 11 a.m. will be your tip-off time against Western Kentucky here at home. If you're going to be out and about in the area, then you want to come join in what should be a very fun environment. A lot of enthusiastic 6th graders here from the local Terre Haute area. Tip-off will be at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Coach K, keep getting them, brother. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for
Once again, that was Chad Killinger joining us. When we come back, it'll be time for Anna McKendry to hop on up here and talk about that game tomorrow and much more. This is the Indiana State Coaches Show live at Copper Bar here in downtown Terre Haute on 105.5 The Legend.
Hi, I'm Brian Kane with Viribus Wealth Management. Today's teams know that the only way to victory is to work together and to stick to the game plan. Your financial success is no different. Viribus Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of Sycamore Athletics, and we believe our process will help you succeed at what is most important to you. Call us today and discover the Viribus difference. Go Sycamores.
Investment products and services are offered through Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC. Member SIPC. Viribus Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN.
This is the voice of the Sycamores, Luke Martin, and everyone knows how much Mark Klinkenberg Construction loves to root on our Indiana State Sycamores. While the Sycamores try to build a championship-level team on the field, it's time for you to take the lead and get your dream home built. Mark Klinkenberg Construction can help with that. They specialize in building new custom homes. For more information, visit clinkconstruction.com. Thanks to Mark Klinkenberg Construction for their support of the Sycamores.
I ran out of my pain meds too quickly.
I took more and more to get through my day.
I did anything to get them.
I needed help. I needed hope.
We found them both.
Professional, safe, no wait times, quality treatment. Regain something lost. Call or go to winrecovery.org.
It's the Ford Shine Bright sales event, and Ford is helping you be a light for others this holiday season. Right now, get special offers on select Ford trucks and SUVs. Come in and choose a vehicle in stock, or simply place a custom order, lock in your rate, and you're protected. Hurry in to your local Ford dealer today and find the Ford vehicle that helps you shine bright all season long. Not all models, trims, or features may be available or may be subject to change.
Wake up with Barry Kent on the Legend Morning Show weekday mornings here on the home of the Sycamores, 105.5 The Legend.
Welcome back to the Indiana State Coaches Show here at Copper Bar. So great to have you with us. We got a great crowd on hand here tonight. If you're wanting to come and join us for the rest of the hour, you better come now. There's very few seats up top here at the up top here in the upstairs at Copper Bar, here just off Wabash Avenue. So great to have you with us. Big thank you to Dave Thomas, who's back in our DLC Media Center all night long and does a great job all throughout the year for all of our broadcasts. Well, now it's time. We just talked to head coach Chad Killinger, now the one that everybody flocks to Holman Center. That's why all the sixth graders are coming tomorrow. See this young lady play, young woman play. Anna McKendry is our guest here on the program. Anna, how are you? How are you feeling? You excited to get in front of yelling loud sixth graders tomorrow morning?
I am. I'm excited to have a lot of energy there tomorrow.
I know you love playing in front of any home environment, and Holman Center has always been fun to play in front of. Can you just add to it what it has meant to get the support that you and the team do each and every time you go out there and play? And, of course, tomorrow will just be a little extra special just with all the middle schools coming out to support you.
Just to see, like, the community and everyone around us support us, especially when we go into the crowds after the games and see them. Just to see, like, the fans and, like, how they truly care about our program. And it just, like, is a great motivator for how we play on the court.
Your college journey, you've made multiple different stops. You know, talk about your first interaction with Coach Killinger. When you met him, what that interaction was like for you.
I met Coach K my junior year of college at Nicholls State, and he was a previous JUCO coach, so we kind of already got along off the bat because JUCO people just relate different. And
what do you mean by that? That could be the follow-up. Continue.
So I would say with my career at Nicholls, me and Coach K already had a good relationship, and he was really one of the coaches I could just go to and talk to about anything. So that's where it started, and then now we're here, I guess.
Now here in beautiful Paradise, Indiana, you know, you could see a year ago you had such a presence in shooting the three ball, and obviously you still have that this year, getting off to a really good start. What were areas, Anna, that you really looked at after last year, over the summer, that you really wanted to focus on and try to get better at and improve?
I feel like kind of not limiting myself to just being a three-point shooter, kind of, just getting better in different areas of the game where I know I can do, but I need to like gain the confidence in. So I guess just really finding confidence all in my all-around game, not just my three-point shot.
I think the other side of it, too, is everybody here probably knows you've been playing, obviously, since October and even early, of course, practicing in the fall. I still don't think those really quite understand or grasp how much time the summer consumes for you and your teammates. Can you just add into how long of a haul this is and really how long of a haul it's been for you and your teammates really going back to June and building your chemistry, building this team together? It doesn't just start in the fall. It's really started all the way back in June.
Yes. Well, I had ankle surgery over the summer, so I really missed a lot of summer workouts, but I was really focusing on getting my ankle and stuff strong. But, yes, from June to the end of March is a grind. So, I mean, it's a long season, but everything always, like, when you get to that conference tournament, everything just, it's the best feeling ever.
Last year, tons of accomplishments, and the group, you guys set the bar for what you wanted to do this year. Being able to win in Moline for the first time ever for the program, great accomplishment. But you guys wanted more. How hard was it, though? Not that you look at excuses or reasons why maybe it didn't sustain all the way throughout the year, But how difficult was it last year where it felt like right when you got momentum, COVID, some sort of outbreak would happen, and then you couldn't play for another week or two? The difficulty of it really felt like a year ago, right when you got momentum, gosh, you had to stop because either the opponent got COVID or yourselves had an outbreak. Just the challenges, how that was to navigate a year ago from a player's perspective.
It was, I would say it's more frustrating just because you never know. I mean, you could wake up the next day. I know we were on the road one day and someone had COVID, and then we had to split the bus half and half just because of the rules and how they are. So, I mean, it was, but I felt like it also made us better as players just to, like, expect the unexpected, I guess you could say. And going through with all the COVID and stuff like that, it's never easy. And obviously being sick in general is never easy. And coming back with the protocols that we have,
absolutely.
It just takes, it's just, I would say it's more frustrating than anything.
One of the things I always enjoy about watching our team play, your team play, is specifically you, because you got a little moxie about you when you're out there on the court. You carry yourself with a little bit of a swagger when you're out there playing. How would you describe the moxie and your style of when you're on the court versus the when you're like here, where you just seem so nice, just can chat it up, not going to get mouthy like sometimes you may too, a little bit when you get on the floor?
Well, that was kind of one of my biggest focuses this year was, to play with a passion, but, not to let it take control of me. So I feel like that was one of the big marks on me this year for this season, is to kind of just keep my composure. I mean, yes, have a little edge here and there, but not let it take me out of the game. I would say my moxie comes just from being competitive, I guess, and just, wanting to win for the team and for the coaching staff.
Absolutely. You mentioned wanting to win, not just for your coaching staff, but for your teammates. What is the character like on your team? How would you describe the culture that all of you have, and why you enjoy being around each other as much as you do?
This is the first team I can say where every single individual on the team is different. Everyone acts different, responds different, and all of that. So I think we spent so much time together during the summer that we just kind of learned everyone's personalities and like kind of how to gel that in with everyone together. So I think having this long summer was, I know everyone's like, oh, well, y'all are here all summer, this and that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it did help us understand each other and get to create that bond before we even started official practice.
Anna McKendry is our guest. Again, you can see her tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock tip-off time, Indiana State and Western Kentucky for the Education Day game. Before we end on that note, Anna, just Coach Killinger, talked about at the top. You play a lot of different teams with a lot of different styles. You spend really more time practicing right now than it feels like in an actual competitive environment and in a game. Just the fact that now here down the stretch, you get five in a row here at home. You're not just going to be practicing. You're going to get an opportunity to play games, to go up against each other. How much more do you feel this team can really accomplish, specifically before you start league play here at the end of the month?
I think we got all the talent in the world on the team. It's just going to be how bad we want it that night. And I feel like it's going to come down to just really who can outplay each other every single night. I don't think it has anything to do with rankings or any of that stuff. I think we could personally beat anyone we set our mind to. I think we have that talent. I think we have the skill and the knowledge and the coaching to really make a difference this year in the Valley.
Anna, thank you so much for the time, for hopping on. I told you this won't be too bad. You would survive. She was nervous all week long in the past week when we told her that she was going to be on tonight. She did great. Didn't she do just fine, everybody? Yeah. Hey, but you know what? You're going to be in your zone tomorrow morning. You'd much rather have a basketball in your hands. Yes. So, Anna, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for coming on. That was Anna McKendry joining us. Big thank you to Anna and Coach K from Indiana State Women's Basketball for hopping on the program. When we come back, it'll be time for a guy that doesn't know what it's like to coach guys with edge or anybody that has a little bit of moxie. It's Josh Schertz join us and Trenton Gibson later on in this hour as well. This is the Indiana State Coaches Show on 105.5 The Legend.
We're no etiquette experts, but biting into your McDonald's crispy chicken sandwich and ending up with a whole pickle slice dangling from your mouth isn't impolite. It's human. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is the voice of the Sycamores, Luke Martin, and everyone knows how much Mark Klinkenberg Construction loves to root on our Indiana State Sycamores. While the Sycamores try to build a championship-level team on the field, it's time for you to take the lead and get your dream home built. Mark Klinkenbeard Construction can help with that. They specialize in building new custom homes. For more information, visit clinkconstruction.com. Thanks to Mark Klinkenbeard Construction for their support of the Sycamores.
The Tribune Star sports team offers the best and most complete coverage of Wabash Valley sports you'll find anywhere. In addition to reporting scores and game highlights, our sports writers and photographers go behind the scenes to tell the compelling stories about teams, players, and coaches to make their sports fun and entertaining for fans to watch. Sign up today to get all this sports coverage plus breaking news, daily headlines, deals, and more from the Tribune Star. Visit us at tribstar.com or call us at 812-231-4234 to get signed up. Tribune Star, local news, essential now, essential always. Subscribe to the Tribune Star today.
It's time to further your career. Marion Manufacturing is always actively hiring motivated individuals for full and part-time positions. Marion's range of services have allowed them to become a leading manufacturer in industries such as aerospace, satellites, defense, energy, heavy equipment, and agriculture. To apply, visit mariontool.com. Marion Manufacturing looks forward to you joining their growing team. Marion Manufacturing is proud to support the Indiana State Sycamores.
Wake up with Barry Kent on the Legend Morning Show, weekday mornings here on 105.5 The Legend.
Welcome back to the Indiana State Coaches Show here on 105.5 The Legend. So great to have you with us. We have a great crowd again on hand here tonight. If you want to join us, you still can. We're going to be here till 7 o'clock tonight as we now make our way to the men's portion here of the Indiana State Coaches Show. Big thanks again to Chad Killinger and Anna McKendry from Indiana State Women's Basketball to join us. Now it's time to talk about Indiana State men's basketball. They are still on the road. It's in the midst of a 4-game road stretch right now. For this man to my left, it's the head coach of the Sycamores, Josh Schertz, who had Indiana State off to its best start in the first 10 games of a season since some guy by the name of Larry Bird and Brad Miley and all those guys stood up for the Sycamores back in 78, 79. And I know coming off a tough loss over the weekend, the Southern Indiana coach, but as we talked about so much throughout the early portions of this week, there's still so much to like about your team. And that's why you want to go on the road. You want to go on the road in those tough environments and be in difficult environments to find even more out about your team and what you have.
Yeah, I mean, one game doesn't define you either way. And certainly I think it's different when you're coaching than if you're a fan or even probably a player. Every game for me is really more, information. You get information, and I look at it more technically than I do, emotionally in terms of results, wins, losses. I certainly understand it's a bottom line business, but at the end of the day, I'm getting information each time we compete, and I'm learning, about our team, about what we can do better, where we are, and then of course, how we can improve, because that's the key. Whether you're winning or coming off a tough loss, the most important part of each experience is how we can get better from it, how we can improve, address areas that have to be addressed, and of course try to continue to strengthen things, because as we know, nothing in basketball is static. It's not what is not always what will be. You got to continue to drive those things.
I think there were definitely situations when you look back to Southern Indiana on Sunday. You hold their leading scorer to just a bucket and didn't get that bucket till the under 5-minute mark in the second half. And give Isaiah Swope credit. I mean, it's a young man that was shooting 20% from three all season long. He made 7 threes all year, and he was 8 of 9 from the three-point line in that game on Sunday. And I'm sure if you ask Coach Girard after that game, for them to win it with their leading scorer only having 2 points, you need someone else to play heroic. And I think you just tip your cap to the young man Isaiah Swope in the game he had on Sunday.
Yeah, he was obviously was lights out. The three he made at the end there to tie it in the final seconds over Jay Kent was a remarkably difficult shot. He made some tough ones, but that's basketball. I mean, again, it goes back to, he coming to the game, he's a 20% three-point shooter, and he's made 7 in 9 games, and he makes 8 in 1 game. And, and I thought, a number of them were difficult shots. They weren't, like he was out there playing horse. But, you have to find ways to win. I think, that's the growth of this team is going to be, there's going to be things out of your control. And sometimes, a guy goes crazy, guy has a fluky night. We had a night where, we obviously didn't shoot the ball well. I think we were 8 for 29 from 3. We were 11 for 19 from the foul line. There was a couple of, obviously, calls that were difficult.
And you put all those things together, and those are all uncontrollable things. As long as you're taking good shots, you're going to live with the results. You're okay with that. No one's missing on purpose. Free throws, we're a good free throw shooting team. I think we're 76% coming to the game and go 11 for 19. But you're up 10 with 4.5 minutes to go. You got to win. You got to close. And and that part was the unacceptable part. That we talked about is really everybody owning within the framework of their responsibilities. What we can do better and trying to respond appropriately, but of course being solution oriented and not being I think there's always, we talk about there's people that are mirror people that are window people. Window people always looking out the window and who did what and blaming others, and it's much easier to be a window person, a mirror person, and look in the mirror and where you can be better and what you can do better. And I told them, when we met with the team, there was things I'd like to have back from that game. There were mistakes I made. As a coach, I'm going to work to, correct those mistakes and need everybody in the room to, be responsible and accountable to what they can do. And we'll all work to be better for our next turn on Saturday.
We talk so much, I kind of always forget whether it was a post-game conversation, pre-game conversation, whether on a nice, comfy seat in Carbondale at Banterra Center, and all those conversations that we've had. But one of the areas I really liked that you brought up with your team was you said, look, what your toughest games of the year are not going to be in Holman Center. And your most important games that you're going to play are going to be in St. Louis and are going to be in the NCAA tournament. And guess what? None of those games are going to be played in the friendly confines of Holman Center. So you got to find a way to be able to push through, to find those situations to win in difficult environments, even those things that you may not necessarily be able to control, whether it's officiating, whatever it may be. That's why I feel like Sunday could hopefully be a really good building block for your team. Just more like you said, it's a data point for your group as you go throughout the course of a season.
Yeah, and it's these are all, every game, win or lose, you try as a coach. Again, I mean, it's different. Fans can, get sky high or be, down the dumps, and I get that. I'm a fan of teams, and you can be that way, but inside of it, everything is information. Everything is, all right, here's where we are, data points, and let's move forward to get better. But no, I agree. I think, we've talked about this a lot. If you're only if you're a team that only plays well at home, then you're not a good team, because half your games are on the road and your most important games are in neutral sites. So you can't be a good team if you're only good at home. You can't be a good team if you only win when you shoot the ball well, because shooting is very fickle. So you got to be able to win. You can't only a good team when everything breaks your way, or you don't get a bad call, or a guy doesn't go 8 for 9 from 3. The really good teams figure out ways to win because stuff happens, and you're going to get the raw end, the short end of the stick on officiating. You're going to get a guy who plays out of his mind and does. You're going to have a night where you go 8 for 29 from 3, or you can't make a free throw, or those things happen. I mean, that's life. But the really good teams, and this is where the evolution has to be. They win anyway, right? They find a way through anyway. You find a way to get to the other side, and we were in position to get to the other side. And the things that we'll focus on are the things that the self-inflicted things that we did. And I thought, this group all year has shown, when we're urgent and we're desperate, and we play with that sense of urgency, that sense of desperation. I mean, we're really an elite team. And when we don't, we're not very good. And I thought got up 71-61. There's about 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And for whatever reason, that at that stage, I think there was a point in the second half where they had 18 points in about 14 and a half minutes, and they had 19 points in the last 12 possessions. And that's where, all the missed free throws, all the stuff, that's irrelevant if we finish the game defensively, and that's where you got to get to as a team. You want to be an elite team. You want to be a team that wins and competes for championships. That's the pathway to doing it, and that's going to be our challenge for this group moving forward.
Well, one of the really good news that you were able to get over the last couple of days is Cooper Neese back practicing, full go, expected to play this weekend at Duquesne. As we kind of touched up on pregame at USI, was everything went about as smooth as it could have, and of all the situations that you were placed in after that night at Drake, everything has pointed well, and of course a big tip of the cap for Coop too, doing everything he's supposed to do following that night as well.
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of concern, with the injury. It looked pretty bad at the time, and you hope, for Coop, he's he's in his 13th year here, so he's it would have been a career-ending injury for him.
He just would have been able to come back for year number 14. There's a waiver. There's always a waiver.
There's always a waiver. Joel
will find a way.
That's it. It was there's a lot of concern. You see him on crutches. Our guys went back at halftime. He's on crutches. We don't know. We're getting the MRI the next day, and Coop was down. Obviously, the team was down at halftime at Drake. And then to have it be a bone bruise was the best possible news. And then Coop's recovery was, really quick. He actually practiced, Friday and Saturday, not full, but he was practicing. And, and probably could have played a little bit Sunday. We didn't want to, jinx it or rush it or, do anything that would jeopardize it. So we held him Sunday, and Monday, obviously, we didn't practice. So, but he's full go. And having him back is for this team. I mean, like any team, when you're playing without one of your best players, you're not as good. You're different. It doesn't mean, we don't, nobody came in. I think it was beneficial for us in some ways. I think some guys, Jason Kent, certainly Zach Hobbs, got greater opportunity, and I thought they did a good job in their expanded, opportunities, and that gives them confidence moving forward. But we're going to be at our best when we have, all of our available players, and certainly Coop being one of our best players. He just, we're better when he's out there. He does a lot of stuff for us. Certainly on the offensive end, the way he moves, his shooting. It's not to say, oh man, we would have won the game, Sunday if he plays, but obviously, anytime you're playing without one of your best guys, it makes it difficult. But I was proud of our group because to navigate, really we lost him early at Drake, so we had to play without him. Drake, Miami of Ohio, Southern Illinois, and then, and then you're going into Southern Indiana. So being without one of your best players for 4 games and, really had a chance to go 4-0 there in those games is a credit to the guys we have. And again, it gave some guys expanded opportunities, and now we can kind of reacclimate him back, but those other guys have established themselves as well. So it's good all the way around.
Head coach Josh Church joins us. This is the Indiana State Coaches Show here live from Copper Bar in downtown Terre Haute. We'll have Trenton Gibson coming on here later to close out the show. We'll get to Trenton, as you know him very, very well from your days at Lincoln Memorial. Before we kind of dive in more to Trenton to close out your conversation with me and preview Duquesne, the efficiency numbers, I actually tweeted a few of them out on Cam and Coop, and just the rise in their play over really this year and their time with you. What do you really credit for those guys to see their efficiency numbers so high? And just as comparison, Cam Henry this year's had 2 games where he's had 0 turnovers. Every game a year ago, he had at least 1. His turnover rate has been cut by nearly 7% this year. I know a big chunk of that was, you said, we not necessarily getting the ball out of his hands, but not necessarily being the decision maker all the times with the ball in his hands. And then for Coop, one of the areas he's really improved in, one is his turnover rate as well. But you look at his 2-point percentage shot when he was a sophomore at Indiana State, he shot 39% from 2. He is now shooting 71% from 2. Yep. Just a drastic difference in both of those guys and their efficiency numbers underneath you.
Well, I think, for Cam, he's in a role that he's, more accustomed to. We put, going to last year with the setup of our team, we really, all the way into the end of October, it was really, built around, Cam and Coop were complementary pieces. Tyreek was the best player. You kind of build your team around your best player or two, and then those guys were, and they have games that really are more, they're just more, I guess, they're more applicable to that kind of role, where they're more comfortable. And it doesn't mean they're not great players, because guys can be great players and not be a guy that needs the ball in his hands, to average 20 points a game or make every decision. When Tyreek went down as late as it was, kind of the way our roster was constructed, those guys were thrust into main piece roles, and that means, Cam Henry's having the ball in his hands a ton. Cooper's having the ball in his hands a ton. They're having to make a ton of this. Everything's coming off their hands, and their games they're not at their best when they're doing that. I think you and I talked in the preseason that for really both those guys, less would be more. Less is more for them, and that's not a knock on them. But we were able to surround them with better players. They have more good players around them. They're in roles that are more compatible who they are as players. They're able to play inside of their strength zones. A big part of being a good player is being able to do what you do best and do that all the time. And it wasn't on them. It was on the way the roster was and certainly the injury. They had to do stuff that, really was above what they – I think it's made them better players, though, and it's helped them. And you look at Cam went from, I think, had 93 turnovers last year. He's in the low 20s now, and he's got a really positive assist turnover ratio. But he's also having to make less decisions. Doesn't mean he's less valuable or less important. He's just having the ball in his hands. Other guys can alleviate some of that and some of the scoring burden from both he and Coop. And they've been able to kind of be in roles that they're, again, more compatible with who they are and that fit them and suit them better. So in terms of Coop's scoring, I think he's really bought into, every system is different and what they emphasize and what they want. I think, one thing that Coop, and he still can do it, but he does it a lot less, is, taking long twos and mid-range twos and tough twos. And he still does it occasionally, but it's not at the level that it was. We just emphasize it less. Doesn't make it, better or worse. But the highest value shot in basketball of any shot is a no-dribble layup. That's the highest value percentage shot you can get, is where you don't have to dribble and you shoot a layup. And Coop gets a ton of those per game because he's a great mover without the ball and hit all the cutting and movement and splits, and then having guys like Cam Henry and Jabo and Robbie Avila that can deliver the ball to him and put the ball on target, has been a huge piece of that. And he's just such a cerebral player. He's such a good off-ball cutter. I just think he is fit well, and we always talk about this, system fit. Even though Coop didn't come here to play for me or in this system, he fits this system extremely well, and so that's why you see his efficiency numbers skyrocketing, and I think he's shooting 57, 58% from the field overall, and like I said, is 71% from two, and all his numbers will trend upwards because he's really understanding in year two that corporate knowledge is taking hold.
Let's talk about this next guy you got coming up here on the show, Trenton Gibson. Getting to know Trent over the summer. Just one, you knew what type of impact he would have because you went head to head with him being a competitor when you were at Lincoln Memorial, but also just the type of personality that he brings. He's an easy guy to love in that locker room, and all the guys love Trent. Has he been everything that you would hope that he would be and has brought to your team this year? Because right now, he's the only guy that has started and played in every game so far for you this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, Trent's been great. The best way to get to know somebody is to coach them, right? And then the second best way would be to compete against them in terms of knowing what you're getting from a player. And, where Voss I coached and Henry I coached and Jabo I coached, I obviously compete against Trent for 3 years. And even though we beat him most every time, even though his record wasn't very good against us, I had a lot of respect for him as a player, but no, you could tell. I mean, he's a guy that, great competitor. He's got a high IQ. He's really savvy, tough, physically tough, mentally tough, could touch winning and put his fingerprints on winning in a lot of ways. He rebounds. He guards hard. He can score. He gets downhill. He gets fouled. He can play make. He understands the game. He touches paint. Can guard multiple positions. He's got positional size. He can post. There's a lot of things that Trent does. And I've said it early. He's best rebounding guard. Point guard I've ever coached. And I think he's second on the team in rebounding, and he's touching the game. He's second on the team in assists, second on the team in rebounding. I think second in steals. He's doing a lot of different stuff across the board to impact winning, and that's what you're looking for. And he's on top of that, and he's came in as as an academic All-American. Graduated, finished a master's already. Came to Indiana State. He's already got a bachelor's, has a master's degree. He's getting a second master's degree here. He and Cade are both, academic All-Americans. I was a little bit pissed at Trent. He only got a 3.75 this semester. We just got his grades. Cade got a 4.0. He got a 3.75. So we're a little disappointed. Underachieved in the classroom, but it's okay. You know,
still higher than any GPA I had, brother, when I was in school.
Much higher than my son's. Our walk-ons are supposed to drive GPA, and my son's driving it down. So, you know, that's neither here nor there. He's gonna be grounded from some stuff here, but no, I mean, Trent's and we have a room full of them. He's a great teammate. He's a great competitor. He's a great teammate. He's a guy that cares about winning. He cares about the right stuff. When you go in that locker room, there's a great. I think there's a great vibe and a great chemistry in there, and it starts with the fact that the quality of human beings that are in that locker room, and Trent's has, you know, been everything I could have wanted, and is, you know, has done a great job at this point. I think as he continues to acclimate systematically, he'll get better and better.
Of course, one game left on this road trip. You'll see Duquesne on Saturday. That'll be 2 o'clock tip. You can listen to the game right here on 105.5 The Legend, 1:30 pregame showtime on Saturday. But then you'll be back at home next Thursday against Northern Illinois. I know it's been a major talking point that all of us have had. The home support this year has been great. The crowds keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and louder and louder and louder. Of course, the students are going to be gone, but still a great opportunity for our fans to come see your team back home starting next Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, the fan support, I think, has been night and day from last year. I really, you know, I told you, I've said this, you know, I think on air, and I've said it, you know, in private. You know, I don't think we win that Drake game without that crowd. I really don't. I don't think we're able to respond. I mean, Robbie hits that three to make it 69-67, and that was the loudest I've heard that place. And you know, down the stretch, they just really, their energy and the way they've willed us. The Forest has been amazing. Done a great job of bringing energy. The students have been fantastic. There's been a great connection between the Forest and our students and our players, and I think that's, you know, been a huge piece. And then the community coming out and getting behind it. I think, you know, at Indiana State, you know, if you're going to build a program, and we've talked about this, you know, a sustainable program, a championship level program, it's a collaborative effort. Everybody's got to do, you know, their job within that, you know, that teamwork framework to be successful. And so, you know, whether it's as a coach or as a player or as a manager, you know, or whatever your, you know, athletic trainer, strength coach, or fan, supporter, you know, whatever it is, the more people you have that are behind you working together and kind of pulling the rope in the same direction, the better chance you have to do this. And you know, it's a difficult task, but one I think we're up to in terms of the community getting behind and really galvanizing and us coming together and hopefully giving them a product they can wrap their arms around in terms of not just winning, because I think that's an important part, obviously most important part, but how we play and then hopefully the quality of human beings that they're supporting, right? And it's all those things across the board.
Coach, it's been so much fun to announce your guys' games this year and be around you guys as much as I am, and look forward to a 3-day road trip. We get out tomorrow. We'll split this ride up to Pittsburgh through a couple days, and I know it'll be a challenge on Saturday, but looking forward to it. Thanks for the time, Coach.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks, Luke.
Once again, that was head coach Josh Schertz. Join us when we come back. It's going to be time for Trenton Gibson to close out the show. Always save the best for last here on the Indiana State Coaches Show. We'll be back with Trenton when we come back here on 105.5 The Legend.
Make the switch to the Hometown Savings Bank's Checking Plus account. No monthly maintenance service charges, no minimum balance required, and sign up for a Checking Plus account and get your instant issue debit card. Get your card and have it activated right away. With 8 branches and 11 ATMs available throughout the Valley and supported by over 150 years of excellent service, providing personal attention to our customers. The Hometown Savings Bank makes it easy to make the switch. The Hometown Savings Bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Kane with Viribus Wealth Management. Today's teams know that the only way to victory is to work together and to stick to the game plan. Your financial success is no different. Viribus Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of Sycamore Athletics, and we believe our process will help you succeed at what is most important to you. Call us today and discover the Viribus difference. Go Sycamores.
Investment products and services are offered through Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC. Member SIPC. Viribus Wealth Management is a separate entity from WFAFN.
We're the Browns, and this is our account.
Nicole and Jordan Brown of Hoosier Aviation talk about Riddell National Bank.
Our relationship with Riddell really began when we were kids, so when we started our business, it seemed like a natural fit for us.
Riddell's provided all of our financial needs for both personal and business, and we could not be happier with the level of service.
For commercial loans, lines of credit, and payroll services, choose Riddell National Bank.
If you're looking to grow your business, Riddell is your best option.
Member FDIC.
Catering by Sodexo Indiana State University can provide outstanding service and delicious food for your next event. Whether you need a hot breakfast, a festive tailgate, or a formal dinner, including bar service, their talented catering staff is available to customize and create the perfect menu. For your convenience, you can place your order online or request a menu consultation with our catering sales team. For more information or to plan your next event, please call them today at 812-237-7618 or visit them online at isucatering.catertracks.com.
This is the home of the Sycamores. 105.5 The Legend.
Been a fun show here tonight from Copper Bar in downtown Terre Haute. Again, you can join us once a month here at Copper Bar for the Indiana State Coaches Show. Big thank you to head coach Josh Schertz, who joined us just a moment ago. But now it's time to welcome Trenton Gibson, the graduate student from Tusculum, who transferred in and, of course, competed against head coach Josh Schertz when he was at Lincoln Memorial. Trenton now has started and played in every game so far this season for Indiana State. Trenton, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing tonight? And more importantly, how are you and the guys holding up here during the midst of this 4-game road trip?
You know, if you asked us on Monday, I'd say we were tired. But it's been fun. On the road it's just us. You know what I'm saying? We're in the hotels together. We're on the road together. So it's fun. It's been good bringing us together.
One of the areas, and we talked about over the summer, you and me, and it was going to see how you would translate to this level. And that was such a major talking point a year ago with many folks saying, could Division II guys make the transformation to Division I? One, how short-sighted of kind of opinion is that of you guys from the Division II level? Not saying that everything's been easy for you since you've gotten here, but you guys have the confidence, and you knew what you were going to be able to bring right away to this team.
Yeah, I think, well, first and foremost, it's definitely a team sport. So it's not like you're just out there alone and it's a one-on-one thing. So I think as, you know, as grad transfers, as older people, it's not that hard of a transition. And I think, you know, my biggest thing has just been trying to find ways to impact the game. So, you know, rebounding, steals, defense, those are kind of not easy things, but simple things that you can do. And in time, you know, it's been an adjustment, it's been a challenge for me, and I'm still adjusting. But in time, I think it will come for me.
You are such a physical presence. You're just a big body. You can go out there and do so many different things, whether, as you mentioned, doing some of the little nitty-gritty stuff in terms of rebounding. When you look at your season to this point, what have you liked that you've been able to bring and that you knew you were able to bring? And what are some areas you're still pushing yourself each and every day, Trent, to continue to be better?
Yeah, I think the physical part of my game is a good part. It's always been part of my game. I don't think anybody will mistake me for playing hard. But Coach always says, you know, it's 75% playing hard, but you also have to play smart. And I think that's where I need to, or I am trying to grow as far as, you know, like I said, I play hard, but just making the right decisions.
You throw some guys around now.
Yeah. But just trying to make the right decisions more often. And, you know, what he talked about with Coop and Cam earlier, I think applies to me. Sometimes, you know, less is more, you know, so that's where I'm at.
To build onto that, you know, Coach Schertz told me when you were brought in, he's like, Luke, this is a guy when he was at Tusculum, had the ball in his hands probably 90 to 95% of the time for what you were asked to do. Now, of course, much different. What is that challenge to go from a system that you had at Tusculum to now trying to find your way to fit into this system?
Yeah, you know, 4 years at Tusculum, I was the main guy. I think man had the highest usage rate in Division II probably. But I think, you know, for growing in basketball and just even growing as a person, Coach Schertz and I talked about me being able to fit in part of a team. And I really looked for a place that would allow me to take that step back and grow my game at different levels.
You competed, like I said, against Coach Schertz and Lincoln Memorial, and you got to see it from a competitor side. What were the challenges of once you were here and trying to grasp it? What's the most challenging aspect of learning to play in this system, even though it's extremely rewarding for you guys as we continue to see throughout your time here?
Yeah, I mean, when the system's done right, I mean, it's almost perfect. You know what I mean? We have stretches where we're really great. And I just think, you know, we talk about, you know, organized randomness. And when we went against Lincoln Memorial, there wasn't really any plays. It was just, you know, things happening that you had to guard. So I think for me, you know, like I've been saying, just trying to still grasp the concept, still make the right decisions, and just make the right decisions quicker.
Well, this is Trenton Gibson joining us here on the Indiana State Coaches Show. Again, Indiana State will be on the road this Saturday. It'll be Indiana State at Duquesne. You'll be able to listen to Trenton Gibson and the Sycamores right here on 105.5 The Legend on Saturday. You know, one of those areas that we were kind of touching up on, Trent, is, of course, you know, this time for you, being the academic All-American that you have been, even though Coach Schertz drilled your GPA. I mean, my goodness, a 3.75. So disappointing. So disappointing, Trent. But in all those aspects, I don't want to, you know, necessarily not emphasize this enough. I think everyone sees the pressure that's put on you guys in terms of winning games and in terms of playing, but it can be a big stress load in terms of your classwork. And of course, last week was finals week for you guys. How refreshing is it once you get through finals week to now get to this time of year where you can just focus on ball, where you can practice, go to games, be on the road, and you don't have to worry about that assignment that's got to be turned in at a certain time. Now it really is. You can just focus on ball here for the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's probably every basketball player's dream, to just show up and play basketball. I mean, that's what we like to do. And like I said, you know, being on the road is such a unique thing because it's just your teammates. And we're going, you know, a 3-day trip coming up, and that's just what we love to do: basketball, travel, have fun. Like, there's nothing like it.
All right, so I told you I had a little bit of a surprise for you here on the show, and I actually told Coach Schertz earlier, and I thought he was going to ruin it during this segment. So I went through today, and I went through your head-to-head matchups with Lincoln Memorial when Coach Schertz was there, and also when Voss, Cam, and Jabo all played for the Rail Splitters. So I do have some trivia questions for you to see if your knowledge base is spot on during your time with Lincoln Memorial. So, are you ready for the challenge here to start off?
Depending on the game, I'll try to forget some of it. So.
Okay. Well, we will see how it goes. Let's just go ahead and start off with the first one. How many wins did you have against Coach Schertz when you played against him?
2.
2. There you go. That's the correct answer. Now, how many wins did Coach Schertz have against you?
Too many. I would say 4?
He had
5. He had 5.
Yes, correct. He did. Let's see. How many times did you outscore Voss in your 4 games against him?
I'm going to go 2. Voss didn't play his freshman year too much, so I had 2.
The correct answer is 1. You only did it 1 time against the 4 games that you had. This one will probably get some laughs in the crowd. How many times did Cam Henry foul out against Tusculum in your one-on-one battles with him?
If it was up to me, it'd be every time. But I would say maybe 3.
2.
2.
Yeah, 2. So not as bad. It's also how many technical fouls Cam had during his time when you guys went one-on-one. How many times did you outscore Jabo in 3 career games against Jabo?
Jabo shouldn't have outscored me.
Yeah, you're right. All 3.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So, and then I think you had 8 career games against Cam when he was at LMU. What was your record in those 8? You already got 2 of them, so 2 and 6.
Yeah,
you can do yeah, simple math. So there you go. That's all the trivia.
I got one though.
Okay, what's yours?
Well, it's not really a question, but I won 2 at Pioneer Arena. It's the hardest place to play.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you. Pioneer Arena.
Okay, Coach Schertz not really agreeing with you. They're in the back. All right, looking towards this weekend, Duquesne on the road again. It's the final game of a 4-game stretch. Duquesne, we'll see them play tonight. They actually played DePaul, and I think they're actually about to tip that game off here in just a matter of moments. But just regardless of who you play, how much is it for you guys if you get a bad taste in your mouth like on Sunday? You just doesn't matter who you play. You just want to get back out there and get a chance to put that bad taste out of your mouths for good.
Yeah, of course. But I think, you know, what Coach says, the way to string together games and the way to have a good season is win or loss. You gotta have the same mentality going into the next game. So, of course, we're hungry. Of course, we want to play again. But every game's the same for us.
I think probably the most disappointing thing of this, because I love talking to you so many times, is there was just no afro for this interview. You just had to cut your hair. You just had to cut your hair about a week
I don't
ago.
know if the headset would have fit.
We probably could have found a way to get that headset on you. But Trent, it's been, I know everybody here can agree, it's been so much fun to get to know you this year. Just one of the all-around greatest dudes, not just on this team, but on this campus as well. And appreciate the time, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Once again, that was Trenton Gibson joining us here tonight. Again, a big thank you to head coach Josh Schertz, head coach Chad Killinger, and Anna McKendry joining us as well. We'll take a break. This has been the Indiana State Coaches Show on 105.5 The Legend.
Hi, I'm Brian Kane with